Mm, My name is Harsimran, and today I'm going to give presentation on the topic insect pests of stored grains. Firstly, what are stored grains pests? A stored grain pest is an insect that damages or destroys stored grain, stored food items, and products like rice, wheat, pulses, corn, etc. Then moving further, what are the types of insect pests of stored grains? There are two types of stored grain insect pest. First one is primary pest. Primary pests are those that attack the whole grain, means they attack the whole part of the grain. And such kind of pest includes lesser grain borer, granary weevil, and rice weevil. Then further, the second type is secondary pest. Secondary grain insects feed on broken grain and any products left as a result of broken grain. Means the secondary pest generally infect the broken grain and the powder which is left. They also infest that product. It includes the genus Tribolium, beetle species, and moth species. All these come under secondary pest. Then for moving further, let us discuss such pests one by one. First one is lesser grain borer. That is, its scientific name is Rhizopertha dominica. It belongs to order Coleoptera, family Bostrichidae. Its adults are 2.3 to 3 mm in length, and their color varies from dark red to brown in color. The lesser grain borer adult has a cylindrical body and elytra with well-developed rows of puncture. Elytra is a wing modification. It is a hard shell-like structure that is a wing modification without clear wing venation. And they form horny sheets. Then moving further to the life cycle of the pest, firstly eggs. The female lesser grain borer lays between 300 to 500 eggs. The eggs are laid singly or in clusters from 2 to 30 and they are attached to the grain where they infest the grain. Eggs hatch in 7 to 18 days. And then further larvae. Larvae are white with brown heads and relatively small legs. The color of the larvae is brown, means particularly the head is brown in color and they have small legs. They bore into the grains where they feed. They infest the grains and there can be up to 5 moles, and after that pupation occurs, means the larva metamorphose and change into the pupal stage. The pupal period lasts from 6 to 7 days and the total life cycle lasts from 24 to 133 days depending upon the environmental conditions, that is temperature, humidity, etc. This is the life cycle of the lesser grain borer. Here you can see that the eggs hatch in 6 to 14 days and they are dropped singly or in batches into the loose grain. Then young larvae start feeding on the floor. They bore into the kernels where they complete their life cycle. This is the diagrammatic representation of the grown larva. It has small legs. Then the larva further changes into pupa, and the pupa damages grains by hollowing out inside, leaving only shells. This affects the quality of the flour produced, and they emerge as adults. This is the adult of the lesser grain borer, that is Rhizopertha dominica. Then then the nature of damage caused by lesser grain borer. Its adults and larvae feed on grain. Larvae develop within seed, so injury is difficult to assess. Adults can eat into wood and paper boxes too, means they can affect from, means they can take place from that place also. Infestations in wheat can lead to reduced flour yield and will affect the quality of the dough. This stored grain insect pest, that is lesser grain borer, usually attack the wheat where it affects the quality of the flour. It means that it leads to poor quality of flour and this will definitely leads to poor quality of dough. Further, what are the preventive measures we can take to manage this pest, to control the insect pest, that is lesser grain borer? Firstly, we should clean stores thoroughly before harvest and seal all building cracks and crevices. And the next point is when appropriate, we should apply insecticides to the fabric of stores or apply grain protectants. Grain protectants helps in preserving the quality of the grains from insect damage. Grain protectants are nothing but insecticides that are applied to the grain as it is being loaded into the storage space. Then further, the next pest is Angomus grain moth. Its scientific name is Cytotroga ceriella. Its order is Lepidoptera and family is Gellichidae. Identification features of Cytotroga are adult moth is small, 2 to 3 inches, brownish gray in color, with long fringes of hairs on wings. Here you can see in the diagram, it has long fringes with wings. Then hind wings extended at apical margins. Larvae and pupal stage remain inside seeds. Then further life cycle, eggs are laid on or near grain, either in the field or during storage. Larvae then penetrate the kernel and continue to feed until mature. When mature, the larva eats outside of the seed and then they pupate adult and then they pupate within the kernel and emerge as an adult moth. Then further, it is a diagrammatic representation of the life history of Cytotroga ceriella. Uh, it represents the four stages, that is egg, larva, pupa, and the adult. Then Cytotroga cerealia grain moth damage. It is the most destructive insect of grain in USA, especially corn. It usually attacks developing wheat grain in the field. Adults moth do not feed on grain. Eggs are laid in clusters on grain, produces larvae that feed in masses on the grain. Larvae further feeds on the starchy portion of the seeds. Then what are the preventive measures how to that we can take to control the Angoumus grain moth? That what are the management practices we should opt to control grain moth? Firstly, dust and spray of malathion should be used to protect against damage by grain moth. The next preventive measure is use of edible oils, containers, synthetic chemicals, agriculture waste materials, biocontrol enhancers, biopesticides can provide us an integrated pest management program for efficient control. These are some of the measures we can take to control Angomus grain moth, that is Cytotroga ceriella. Then moving further to sawtooth grain beetle. Its scientific name is Rhizophilus surinamensis. It belongs to the order Coleoptera and family Sylvanidae. Its important characters are it is a flattened beetle and larvae mouthparts are directed forward. It has prothorax with saw-like projections and forewing has ridges. Then moving further to the life cycle of sawtooth grain beetle. Firstly, eggs are small and slender and they are white in color. They hatch in about 3 to 5 days in summer, and female usually lays 250 eggs on grain. Then larva, when the egg changes into larva, larva is elongated, white, brown headed, and six legged. It bears six legs. A full grown larva measures 1 over 8 inches in length. Larvae crawl in cracks and surround themselves with food particles so that they cannot be seen and located. Then larva changes into pupa and the pupal period lasts for 1 to 4 weeks. There may be 4 to 6 generations in a year. Pupation in grain by binding damaged seeds. Pupation occur in grain by binding themselves to the damaged seeds. Then pupa changes into adult, that is, adults are dark brown, slender, and active insects measuring 2.5 to 3 mm in length. Sawtooth beetle is flightless, though even it has well developed wings, they don't fly at all. So, but in spite that, it has developed wing. This is the life cycle of Rhizophilus surinamensis. Now, firstly, eggs they hatch in 3 to 5 days and change into larva. Larval period lasts for 2 to 10 weeks and it changes into pupa. Then pupation takes place and in 1 to 4 weeks and it further changes into adult. Life cycle is completed in 24 to 25 days depending upon the favorable or unfavorable environmental conditions. But in favorable conditions, it is usually completed in 24 to 25 days. The mode of damage of sawtooth beetle. It is common in grocery stores, storage warehouses, homes. Adults penetrate packaged products. Larvae don't enter seed, they feed externally, and it causes serious heating of stored grain and usually damage the grain. How to control sawtooth beetle and what are the management practices we can opt to control this pest? Firstly, infestations can be avoided by storing dried food products in sealed containers. Fumigation is commonly used to control stored grain pest. Fumigation is a method that we can spray and it is highly toxic and we should avoid such kind of sprays so that humans cannot come in contact with the fumigants. They are very toxic, so it should be practiced uh, in a well careful way. This is all about my topic. Thank you.